Hey everyone, I'm Zed Riley, and you're listening to codePlanet Talks, the podcast where we explore how families, educators, and technology can come together to shape tomorrow's learners. Today's episode is especially for parents, particularly those raising children from Foundation to Year 12 across Australia. Let me begin with a simple but powerful question. What if the subject choices your child makes today, whether it's music in Year 3 or digital tech in Year 9, shape not only their academic pathway, but their confidence, motivation, and future career? Subject selection might sound like a high school problem, but the journey starts much earlier than you think. The real challenge. Many parents feel overwhelmed. How do you balance what your child enjoys with what they might need for university or work? How early should you start thinking about pathways like STEM, arts, or trades? What happens if your child has no clue what they want to do? And most importantly, how do we support without pressuring? If these questions sound familiar, you're not alone. Today we'll walk through subject selection across 3 key schooling stages, primary, middle, and high school, offering guidance, real-life examples, and a few hard-earned truths to help you feel more confident in this journey. Before we dive in, a heartfelt request. Each episode of codePlanet Talks takes hours of research, writing, and production, all to support families like yours. Yet, only around 10% of our listeners take a moment to like, follow, or share. If you find today's episode valuable, please consider supporting us. Click subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. Click follow if you're tuning in on Facebook. And most importantly, share this podcast with friends or fellow parents who might benefit from it. Your support helps us keep going and growing. Back to the topic now. Let's start with primary school, Foundation to Year 6. In primary school, students don't get to choose core subjects, but this doesn't mean choices don't matter. In fact, these years form the foundation of your child's interests, identity, and self-belief. Here's what matters most. Expose them to variety. Look for opportunities in music, coding, LOT, like Japanese or Indonesian, sport, and visual arts. Observe, don't direct. Notice what your child naturally enjoys, sketching, storytelling, building things, or leading group play. Focus on skill building. Traits like resilience, curiosity, and collaboration matter more than high grades at this stage. Let them play. Avoid forcing early specialization. Let exploration be joyful, not pressured. Tip: these early years are like a tasting platter. Let them sample widely without expecting commitment. Think of it as preparing their curiosity, not locking in a career. Our next topic is middle school, years 7 through 9. This is the beginning of formal subject selection and your child's growing sense of self. How to support them here. Understand core versus elective. English, maths, science, and humanities are usually compulsory, but electives like agriculture, robotics, or drama allow for exploration. Encourage trial and error. Let them experiment, yes, even if they later change direction. Mix head and heart. Include at least one subject for creative expression or mental well-being. Ask better questions. What subject do you enjoy putting effort into is more useful than what are you good at? Tip: treat this stage as a testing ground. The clearer the picture by Year 9, the better set up your child will be for the academic rigor of senior school. Now let's explore high school, years 10 through 12. Here's where the stakes rise, and subject choices begin to shape university entry, apprenticeships, and career direction. Most schools conduct 3-way planning meetings between students, parents, and teachers to discuss subject choices for Year 10 and beyond. These conversations matter deeply. So how do we make subject selection in high school really count? Well, it starts with reflection. Sit down with your child and talk about what's been working during years 7 to 9. What subjects did they genuinely enjoy? What kind of work or careers spark their interest, even if it's just a passing thought right now? Next, do some research together. And I don't mean a 5-minute Google search. Use tools like My Future or Job Outlook, which are backed by the Australian government. These sites help you explore what different careers involve, what kind of skills they need, and most importantly, what subjects are required to get there. It's a great way to turn "I want to work in tech" into "I might need digital tech and maths methods." And here's a big one. Plan Year 10 carefully, because, and this is crucial, many Year 11 and 12 subjects actually require specific Year 10 courses as a foundation. Miss those stepping stones and your child might find certain senior subjects or even university courses out of reach. So don't treat Year 10 as just another year. It's more like the on-ramp to the freeway. What you do here sets the direction for the next big chapter. Real-life examples. Let's talk about some concrete subject pathways that show how Year 10 choices impact senior years. Specialist mathematics. Many schools require students to complete advanced Year 10 maths, often called 10A or extension maths, to be eligible for specialist maths in Years 11 and 12. In fact, some schools require at least a B grade in this subject to progress. Chemistry. High-level science subjects often require Year 10 chemistry topics as a foundation. Without a solid Year 10 science background, often a B grade or higher, students may be barred from senior chemistry. Digital technologies IT. While not always mandatory, most schools strongly recommend completing Year 10 digital tech before taking the subject in Years 11 to 12. Some even set minimum grade requirements in English and maths. Languages and humanities. Subjects like Year 11 Japanese or modern history often require prior study in Year 10, with at least a C grade, to ensure students can manage the complexity. Creative arts and music. Want to study senior music or drama? Schools often expect you to have completed an introductory Year 10 version or proven skill level. Tip: don't just choose Year 10 subjects based on what seems easy or fun. Choose strategically, because they unlock options for the next 2 years and beyond. A few other things to keep in mind. Let's not forget some of the big picture stuff that often gets overlooked in the rush to pick subjects. First, university isn't the only pathway. There's this long-standing pressure that every student needs to aim for a degree, but that's simply not true. VET pathways, apprenticeships, and traineeships can lead to highly skilled, well-paid, and deeply satisfying careers, especially for students who enjoy hands-on learning. So keep that door open. Next, scaling and ATAR. I know a lot of families worry about subject scaling, but here's the thing. A strong result in a subject your child genuinely enjoys will almost always beat a mediocre one in a so-called high-scaling subject. Passion matters. Consistent effort matters. Marks follow. And please, don't overload them. It can be tempting to stack their timetable with every academic subject under the sun, but kids are not machines. Balance is essential. Let them have time for sport, part-time work, hobbies, even just rest. Burnout is real, and it shows up fast in senior school. Finally, use the support around you. Most schools have subject coordinators, career counselors, and planning resources. Reach out early. Ask questions. The more informed you are, the better decisions you'll all make, together. A special tip: senior school is not the time for wild experimentation. It's the time for strategic alignment. What can parents really do? Support strategies at every stage. No matter your child's age, your job isn't to choose for them, but to partner with them. Try this. Be their sounding board. Ask what energizes them, not just what they're good at. Model curiosity. Talk about your own work, interests, and how you made career decisions. Avoid comparisons. Each child's timeline is unique. Let them bloom on their schedule. Stay informed. Learn about changes to NAPLAN, ATAR, TAFE offerings, and new jobs in AI, sustainability, and entrepreneurship. Celebrate growth. Whether they succeed or stumble, notice effort over outcome. Final reflection. Subject selection is more than an academic exercise. It's an invitation to help your child discover who they are, what they love, and how they want to shape their future. The earlier we begin that journey, with curiosity, calm, and compassion, the more confident and prepared our children will be. I'm Zed Riley. Thanks for listening, and until next time, take care.